how did and when did basketball sort of fit into the picture?
I started playing basketball, I think, year 6.
So you're a level 2
I am.
coach, yeah. So what exactly is that?
There used to be a national sporting accreditation pathway, so all sports followed it. So there was level 1, level 2, level 3.
Everyone was like, you have to do your HSC, you have to get good marks, you have to go to your... Especially back then, you really
that was
that only way.
Only
everybody thought if you didn't do that, you're going to end up...
I take a lot of pride in seeing some of the kids that I coached at under 12s now playing for the state team.
Do you find a difference between coaching boys and girls?
Boys feel good when they play good, but girls play good when they feel good.
What's the philosophy you've sort of built Iron Tigers on?
I tend to double down on things that I have bad experiences on.
Today I'm sitting down with the coach who is shaping a whole new generation for basketball on the Central Coast, and someone I personally admire both as a parent and as a business owner, Matt Shorrock. So Matt is the owner and founder and head coach of the Central Coast Basketball Club Iron Tigers, and it has grown way faster than anybody had expected and completely changed how local kids access the sport. But before that, Matt spent 2 decades working in IT, travelled to 52 countries, boxed for charity, coached a rugby club in the UK, and battled your way out of burnout and depression to build something with real heart and community. So today we're going to jump into grassroots basketball, kids, coaching, confidence, and how you built something from the ground up. This one has heaps of takeaways that you don't want to miss and some pretty cool stories. So let's dive in. All right. Welcome to the podcast. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, feeling fresh?
Yeah,
After you
I feel great.
Yeah. Hunter's a legend too.
Oh,
he's so nice. He loves a good chat too, so he's awesome. All right, let's get started, and you can tell me where you grew up and what you were like as a kid and where you were.
I grew up in Bankstown, mostly through primary school, and then moved to Cherrybrook before high school.
I actually don't know where Cherrybrook is.
It's like Castle Hill.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Went to high school at Cherrybrook Technology High.
Yeah.
We were part of the first year 7s to go through. It opened the same year. It wasn't very technological back then.
That was going to be my question. Like, so you know how there's like the sports schools? Is that sort of the same thing? Like,
we had one computer room, so I don't know what was technological about it, but I think it's quite a selective school now. So
yeah. Now, is it more? Do you know if it's more technology?
I guess so.
Yeah.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of nerdy as a kid, but not academic. Like I was big into comics and collecting. I still am. But yeah, I had friends. I didn't really have a big group of friends until I got into sports.
Yeah.
So.
Till you're a bit older and stuff.
Yeah, probably year 7, year 8.
Yeah.
I think.
And then after school, that's when you got into just admin.
I got it. I didn't do very well in my HSC, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So it was like, well, you got to get a job. So I just got an office job doing admin, bit of...
Is that the one with your auntie?
Yeah. I got a job at P&O Containers where she worked, and I was doing like stacking the stationery cupboards, and I'd do the Friday beer run for the just stop the fridge in the office and stuff like that. And then got moved into marketing, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it just sort of piqued my interest in a bit of stuff.
Yeah. And and you went to India and everything. Was that with...
Yeah, that was the same company. Yeah. So I worked for P&O for 8 years.
Yeah.
4 of them in Sydney, 4 of them in the UK.
Yeah.
And so I kind of drifted from marketing into... I dabbled a little bit with container shipping. It wasn't very interesting.
Yeah,
it was just like, this container goes on this ship and it's going to Japan.
Yeah.
But then got into the IT department there, and then I was doing a lot of, it was right on the cusp of sort of 99, 2000, e-commerce was the big thing.
Yeah.
And I was in the e-commerce support team, and I kept sending these emails to head office in London going, this is crap, you need to do better. And then they moved me over there and said, okay, well, you can do better.
How good. How old were you when that happened?
19, 20.
Wow.
20 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. And they moved you over there. Like,
I was still living at home. It was really weird. Like I remember they put me in a hotel for like the first month, and then I had to find a place to live. I knew some people over there that had just moved there as well. So they were like, get the Loot newspaper and you'll find, this is well before like lots of internet stuff.
Yeah.
But, get the Loot, you'll find people advertising for rooms for rent. So I found a room close to where my friends live, and I was a 3-person shared flat, just some randoms.
Tiny.
Yeah. And I remember ringing my mum at 3 a.m. going, how do I do washing? Like, what's this button on the washing machine? Yeah. So it was kind of like, go from living at home, not really doing much, to having to fend for myself.
Yeah.
And, cook and clean and all of that. So I had to grow up very quickly.
Yeah. How old were you when you went to India?
Not long after that. So it was basically project based. So every time we would start to design a system, they would send me over to India to lead the testing team. So it was like 3 months at a time.
Yeah.
So it was 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003.
How interesting.
Yeah, it was
Before
really cool.
that, were you ever like, I want to travel, I want to go
really.
to...
Like, we had gone on family holidays and stuff, and we'd been to the States and like Fiji, Vanuatu. But yeah, like once you get to London, it's kind of like a jumping off point everywhere. And it's just so ingrained in like, all my friends were like, oh, we're going to Amsterdam for the weekend. And stuff like that. And, India wasn't really on the cards, but it was just... Where you go?
Going to India for 3 months to work and stuff. And you were so young, so you were leading like teams and stuff in India too? Yeah.
It was crazy. Like it didn't really feel like I was in charge.
Yeah, right.
But I was just telling people what to do.
And, How old were like the people you were in charge of? Were they young too, or were they?
No, they were kind of, I suppose, mid-30s. They were software developers.
That's strange.
Not really. I was just, I suppose, focused on the job that I needed to do. And it was a good team. I'm still friends with a lot of those developers. So maybe we'll talk about this later, when Vicky and I traveled around the world, we went to India and I stayed with a lot of friends that I'd made from
caught up with them.
Yeah. And it was just see the opposite side to India. They were like, no, you don't want to go there. Let's go shopping here and, we'll take you out to dinner here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of your wife, so you met her in London.
Yeah. So I remember the day that I was leaving, Mum was refusing to go into the airport. She was like, I'm not going. I said, look, I'm just going to go 2 years, get some experience, do a bit of travel, and then, I'll stay for 12 years.
That didn't happen.
No, stayed 12 years, got married, had kids. So
And you got married and had kids over there. Yeah.
Vicky and I met in 2002.
And she from there originally? Yeah.
Yeah. So a lady that I worked with had a barbecue. Like, she had an annual barbecue for, for work friends. And when I got to her house, she was like, you sit here. And I was like, okay.
I've got someone to sit right next to you.
That's right. Yeah. And so we have a photo of that night where, Sarah, our friend, was just walking around taking photos. And there's a photo of Vicky and I, like we had only met like 5 minutes before that.
Wow.
So that was 25 years ago.
Hectic. Yeah. So from this big life of admin, how did and when did basketball sort of fit into the picture?
I started playing basketball, I think, year 6.
Mm-hmm.
We might have been the Sydney Kings come to our primary school and
inspiring as
and just take us through, as they do. And then by the time I got to high school, it was kind of regular, team sports and stuff like that. So I played for the school team and just fell in love with it. I had a hoop put up at the back and was watching games every week. And then, Dad kind of latched onto that and started taking us to Sydney Kings games. And so,
I feel like even for Jack, like when we got him a basketball hoop, it was like, he's in his mind, he's like, I remember my brand new basketball hoop and I remember my setup. I'm like, you obviously don't, because we were living in Springfield in this crappy little rental. I think I got it secondhand off Facebook Marketplace. Wasn't even a basketball court. It was like, when the grass doesn't grow, so it's just hard dirt. It was just like there. And in his mind, he's like, it was this great setup. I was like, nah, but yeah.
I still think back to like where our first house in Cherrybrook, we had this big paved area out the back and the hoop was on the brick wall. Yeah. And it was just, I still haven't had a court better than that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just, memories, but.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is. Our old house, it's like at Berkeley Vale, there was just like when we moved in, someone had put a basketball hoop up before us, and it's just like a kind of like a rotted MDF court and just an old rusted like not even had no net on it, nothing. It would have been like a netball hoop.
Yeah.
And Jack still says, "Oh, I miss the Berkeley house. It had such a good basketball court because it was just concrete with that up on the balcony." And yeah, he still thinks it's really good. And then in year 10, you coached, made your own team.
Yeah, I can't remember how that happened. I think when we moved to another house in Cherrybrook, it was kind of 2 levels. So the house was down on 1 level, and then up the top, I believe the plan was to put a tennis court, but nobody ever really played tennis, so it never happened. So we had a half court put in, and then I just started doing one-on-ones training with year 7 kids, and then all of a sudden I put a team together, and we would have team training down at the hard courts at Cherrybrook, and I don't know, I can't remember. It was too long ago as to how it happened, but that was kind of my first adventure into coaching.
How crazy to think that's you in year 10 to now. Do you know what I mean? Like you never would have thought this is where you would be, and you were just like, yeah, I'll do that. And then, how good. What were you like in high school?
Still a nerd, I think. I was on the chess team and the basketball team, which is unheard of. So I had two different friends. When probably I didn't get a lot of close friends or big friend groups until year 9 or 10.
Were you like a confident kid, or are you shy, or?
No, I think somewhere in the middle, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just easy ride through.
Yeah, I kind of fit in with most groups. I think I was like, there was the go out drinking every, this is probably more year 11 and 12.
Yeah. Swear to God.
Yeah. On a Saturday night. But then there was the pot smokers that, I never really did it, but it was just like, they're kind of chill and easygoing, so I hang around them. And then there was the sporty guys that I fit in well with because I played. So, yeah.
And then when you're in the UK, you even had a time of coaching rugby.
Yeah. I had moved from the flat that I was in into a shared house with some of my mates. There was 7 of us in the house, so 5 South Africans. And plus me and Adam, the other Aussie. It was a big house. It was like a townhouse. So everyone had their own room and stuff. But South African, big rugby fans. So rugby was on every weekend in the house. Adam and I were playing touch footy one day down at the park. And the rugby club was handing out flyers going, you guys should come and play.
Had you played much before?
No, never.
No?
Never. Adam was like 6'4", lot forward, played rugby all through school. And he was like, I'm going to go play rugby. And I was just like, okay.
And then how did you start coaching that?
Well, I just played. It was a small club.
How long were you playing till you started coaching?
Probably 2-3 years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it just got in. I think the club was growing, so they only had 2 men's teams. Then it became a 3rd men's team, and I ended up managing one of those teams.
Just born for it.
I guess it just kind of happened, and then we got a 4th team. Then there was a women's team that came over from, I think, King's University. They just brought their whole team over and said, we'll just become your women's team. And then Vicky actually played for that for 1 season, so that's how I got into, I'll come to training and I'll help out. And then started coaching the women's team, and then I think at some point I became chairman of the club.
Yeah.
And then I started to see more holistic and go, okay, we've got the men's section, we've got the women's section that's kind of growing, and this youth section, there's like 30 kids, all different ages, and they're not really getting a lot of benefit out of, somebody, we don't know who, is showing up every Sunday to kind of lead them through a session. So I went into managing the youth section, because that was the area I think needed the most attention.
Yeah.
And then that was, I suppose, Iron Tigers 1.0, I think, because it kind of went from, and I still think about it now, like it went from 30 kids age 7 through to 17 in one of the most underprivileged part of London. Like it was East End of London, I used to say, I'm glad these kids are here because they could be mugging somebody down the street if that was,
Did you have kids at this point?
No.
Yeah.
And we would walk late at night. It's not that safe. Mm-hmm. And we'd see this big group of kids coming towards us, and Vicky would be, a little bit worried. And I'd go, it's Dave. I know Dave.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What's up, coach?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But then we just started to hey, you should get your mates to come down. And then it went from, by the time I left, we had under 9s, under 11s, under 13s, 17s and 19s.
How good.
So there was a
Setup.
pipeline of kids. You know, I look at the team lists now sometimes and still see some of those kids that I coached at under 11s are playing first grade and stuff like that. So that was my first blueprint to go, well, I can replicate that.
Yeah. Yep. How old were you then?
30s?
Yeah.
Maybe early 30s.
Yeah. And then you came back for a bit?
Yeah. We came back 2005 for my best mate's wedding.
Yep.
And ended up staying for a little bit because at the time the pound was really strong. So at my mate's wedding, I was just like, yep, drinks on me. And the plan was to go traveling straight away, but we traveled around like Cairns and, you know, parts of Australia, probably spent more money than we had planned to.
Yeah.
So I ended up just staying for about 6 months. I worked as a IT contractor, earning pretty good money. So Vicky got a working holiday visa. And, she worked as well. We stayed with my folks, so we were able to save up quite a bit.
Yeah.
While we were here, that's when I got back into playing basketball.
Yeah. Is that when you got accredited?
Yeah. I was like, just fresh from playing, coaching rugby, and I was playing.
So what was meant to just be coming over for a wedding ended up staying for ages, then thinking, I'm going to get into...
Well, I was just like, I want to do something because I'm just working all the time and, you know, we're staying with mum and dad. There's not a whole lot to do. So I'll go and play up at Castle Hill. Joined a team. Somebody I knew, I can't even remember how I met them, but they were all like, I don't know, 17, 18. Yeah. And I was in my 30s.
Yeah. You're just like, I just want to play. So
it doesn't matter. Yeah, I ended up finding myself coaching them more than playing.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, I should go and get qualified. So we were playing at Hills, so I went and did the next course. Back then, it was like you had to do 5 or 6 evenings of like the coaching course. And then after that, to get your level 1, you had to do, I'm going to say 30 to 60 hours of rep coaching. Yeah. And I said to Hills, I haven't got a rep team. I just showed up here. So they placed me with, I can't remember his name now. I can't remember. I think his name was Tom. Maybe. I'm still connected with him on LinkedIn. Yeah. So apologies if I got the name wrong. And I didn't do a whole lot. I'd show up to their trainings. He'd ask me to shoot and rebound and, you know, that sort of stuff. But I got to go to all their games, sit on their bench. I did stats and I was like, this is really
cool. Just sort of shadow him. Yeah. Kind of thing.
And then as the season, it was right at the start of the season. So the season went on and we were like, we're making finals and I was starting to get into, you know, the rhythm of coaching and this is actually what my role is. Yeah. I can contribute a little bit more. And then we ended up winning the whole thing. It was fantastic. Yeah.
How good for like the first, like that leap of you studying and they ended up winning and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good to see. I felt like this is how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah. So you're a level 2 coach. Yeah. So what exactly is that?
I am just
what does that mean?
next level. So there used to be a national sporting accreditation pathway. So all sports followed it. So there was level 1, level 2, level 3. But then they abandoned it sometime in the last 10 years, I suppose. So Basketball Australia had to create their own accreditation pathway. So community coach is the first level, which is kind of like what we're doing at Iron Tigers, domestic, you know, mum and dad type coaches coaching their kids' team. That's level 0. Then level 1 is club coach, which is kind of representative level. And then level 2 is association coach, where you can sort of coach at New South Wales type level, state level.
If you look at like, if you just like seriously pause for a sec and then you look at 19, going into admin, jet setting across, not really knowing what you're doing, but just doing it anyway, to now, like, what does that mean to you? Does that so sick? Like watching mentors,
feels like a
different
one? Life. Like it was kind of directionless and I was just following, you know, whatever was happening. But I feel like in the last 10 years, I've been very deliberate in what I do. Yeah. I don't do things by halves. So I either go all in or not at all. Yeah. But it's one of those things where like you have to go through that to figure out what it is you want to do. And like I say to my kids, like I didn't know what I wanted to do in high school. Yeah. I didn't know at 30 what I was doing. So
I remember telling my mum I wanted to drop out, and I reckon I was in year 11 and mum was like, you can either stay at school, but if you drop out, you absolutely have to get a job. So you got to know what you want to do. And at that time, I was just bleaching people's hair and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I want to be a hairdresser. That's definitely what I want to do. And then I went and did that. I was like, I hate that. So I went back to school for a little bit because I was like, working, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then I was back at school. I was like, nah. And then I left and I had no idea what I wanted to do. And everyone was like, you have to do your HSC. You have to get good marks. You have to go to, especially back then. You really like that only way. Everybody thought if you didn't do that, you're going to end up a nobody and like. But now I don't want to encourage, but like now, barely any people do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, remember,
I feel like I've had 5 or 6 careers fully in my life, and like I've done that. Go back to school, study this now. Like I studied IT, but first I studied marketing, then I studied IT. I was a journalist for about 2 years. Like,
right.
It was crazy. Like I got my diploma in journalism at the London School of Journalism, which sounds fancy, but it was just like a TAFE.
Yeah. And
then I started writing for the Australian Times in London. Really? And I was just doing sports reports from back home. And all I would do is just watch the game on TV and just write about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a good lineup there.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah. All right. Do you have a standout coaching moment that stuck with you?
I don't know if there's one. Mm-hmm. I don't put a whole lot of stock into winning and losing. Like, it's not my thing. I like the little wins, like just thinking about Iron Tigers, like it's the kid who never speaks at training coming up and giving me a high five. It's, like even at a rep level, it's the kid who is really scared to do something, but by the end of the season, doing it confidently.
Yeah, it's so touching
those
to
things
watch.
Are rewarding.
Yeah.
I remember those. I don't remember the score or whether we won or lost or, I love winning. Everyone loves winning.
Yeah, but it's cool to see you've had a part in helping them grow in themselves sort of thing.
I take a lot of pride in seeing some of the kids that I coached at under 12s now playing for the state team.
Yeah.
Not in the I helped them get there, but it's just like I remember when he was 8 years old and shorter than me.
Yeah.
And now he's 6'7" and playing for the state team. Like that's just so rewarding.
I reckon we
see them.
can definitely relate to that even here, just with like watching a tattoo apprentice grow. Like I remember Regan, when he first started, he came in and his art was so good, but he copied things. Like he would do anime, but he would look at something and then copy it. And I said to him to try and create his own drawing, and he was just like, I can't do that. There's no way I can do that. And I remember like we stepped him through how to do it, giving him like ideas or just pick 3 different items. Now I want you to put them together. And he was just like, absolutely not. Like now his artwork is insane. Like he draws so well and he's comes up with these amazing ideas, and even he's like, I can't believe I can do that. Do you know what I mean? And then that makes
I knew you could.
Yeah. And I think that's like what you said. I think that's the best thing to see that work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what about, so you're a father of 3 now. What do you reckon something from parenting has sort of helped you or taught you to partner with coaching, if that makes sense?
First thing that springs to mind is probably the other way around. I'm a lot more patient in my coaching than I am in my parenting, maybe.
Yeah.
We've got, out of the 3 boys, 2 are neurodivergent, and they're very, very different.
Yeah.
So we have to apply different parenting styles to each of our 3 kids, and that requires more patience than you could ever know.
Yeah.
And it's just...
And then also doing it as parents, so you have to be on the same setup to be sure.
And Vicky and I are quite different in that regard.
I think every relationship is. I think that's the hardest thing. Yeah.
And sometimes, she has to pull me back and go, hey, take a breath. And more often than not, I'm saying, hey, can you settle?
Yeah, that's a standard. I feel like I'm like that even here.
Yeah.
The more staff you get, you're like, I'm not the mum. I've got to be professional, and it's like, and then the other way around. But we're very similar.
Yeah.
You've coached boys and girls, juniors, adults, everything. What do you find? Do you find a difference between coaching boys and girls?
Yeah, I remember my first time coaching girls. One of the mums from my previous boys team, she said, I've seen you yell at the boys a lot more than you are these girls. You should be tougher on them. But I feel like the vibe coaching girls is a lot easier if it's positive and fun. And and I think I said to you before, my saying is that boys feel good when they play good, but girls play good when they feel good.
Yeah.
So if you can create a vibe and an atmosphere where they want to be there and they're happy, then they'll play well and then they'll be even happier.
Even when you said that, Norma and I were like, that is so true. Like, even as girls, we're like, yes, that is so us.
It's all about the vibe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Even like, I reckon if you like for girls to tackle anything, if we're not in a good mood or anything, it's going to be probably a crap result. If we're in a great mood or whatever, it'll be a great result.
And I find they're willing to try things.
Definitely, yeah. Whereas boys are definitely, like you said, they will, the better the score's going or the better the game's going, that lifts their vibe.
Yeah, and the more enthusiastic they become and, you know.
Yeah. I think that's everything too. All right, Iron Tigers. What was the day or the moment that made you say, yes, this has to exist?
It kind of already existed at that point.
Yep.
But
not in the basketball sense.
Oh, it did. It did. So back when I was still playing, I had a unisex team.
Yep.
And that was Iron Tigers because at the time I had my Eye of the Tiger PT business and Iron Tigers just felt like a bit of play on words. And then we renamed my elder son's team that as well, and we all had the same jerseys, and at some point we had 4 teams.
Yes.
And it was kind of like, oh, you're a club. I'm like, oh, no, it's just social basketball. And then that kind of died down a little bit. And then I went and did my level 2, and I was sitting next to a Filipino couple who, as it turns out, coached my nephew. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we know you. And I was just asking them questions about how they created the club, and they just couldn't believe there was nothing like it on the Central Coast because it's so prevalent in Sydney. All the associations in Sydney have clubs where people can just join.
And sort of like how you said about how different it is, like signing up to soccer.
Every other
football.
sport, on the coast, you can just go, okay.
My kid wants to join. Come to Rego Day.
Yep.
That's
He's in a team.
Yeah.
Bob's your coach. Training's on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
That's it. Whereas basketball on the Central Coast, like in Newcastle, it's the same as in Sydney. You join a club, you play. But here is like, great, you've done Aussie Hoops, you've done Learn to Play. Now you want to play. Go and find 4 other friends and a parent to organise it, and then you can play in our competition.
That's why I was messaging you the other day. Like, because physique, everybody sort of wanted to, and then they would jump, like, messaging to try and find it. And we were like, we don't know how to do it. Also, we didn't want to coach. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard enough to get your kids to do homework, let alone
listen to you.
That's it. Oh, when Jack was in his last team, it was like we'd just all take turns. Whoever was there in the night would sort of help them. But, like, they'd come off and it'd sort of be... Jack would just be like, Mum, don't tell us what to do in front of my friends. Like, don't tell my friends what to do. And then they'd sort of be like the same with that. And every time it was like your turn, you just were like, I don't want to be that.
I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember Irene just looking at me, just going, you should do it. And at the time, I was just on a different trajectory, like with PT and with, you know, other things. And then, like, on the drive, because we were doing the course in Bankstown, and I was just driving back and forth each day. And on the drive home, I was just thinking, like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So I went on that night, registered the business name, set up the company, went back the next day. I was like, right, Percy, Irene, I've got a whole lot of questions for you because I'm doing this now.
How good.
Yeah.
You just did it all spontaneously.
Yeah.
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 It was on.
That was November.
Yep.
And then I was already running the academy as a extra training thing.
Yeah,
There was a lot of one-on-one trainers on the coast, and that's really good for skills and player development. But
it was sort of like a better version of Aussie Hoops sort of thing.
Yeah, I was just feeling like
that.
You know, you can only do so much by yourself. You need defense. You need to make decisions. So I wanted the academy to be like the next level where we can do all of that skills development, but you're against defense where other players are trying harder.
Yeah.
In a game sense where there's, you know, the fear of losing, that sort of stuff. So,
and I think even like you said to me, I think one of the good things is, even with the academy, is a lot of kids weren't in reps, weren't used to being coached, if that makes sense. And so they didn't take it well. They don't take constructive criticism well.
No, it's a learning process. You have to learn how to be coached as a human. Like, you know.
And not be insulted with feedback.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, the only time outside of mum and dad you get that is from teachers.
Yeah.
And if you don't get coached as in sport outside of that, then it's very hard to go into the workforce.
Fully.
You've just gone from parents to teachers to nothing else.
Yeah.
And every other sport kind of gets that opportunity. And
Yeah.
the only time in basketball you get that currently is if you make a rep team.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give that opportunity to kids
Before they made
the
Yeah.
team. And that's, that's the stepping stone. And obviously that's the hope for all of our kids, but they don't have to.
Yeah.
But they can still get coached. They can still get, that feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did the name Iron Tigers come from?
I had another company called Eye of the Tiger Business Coaching. When I was working for the federal court in Sydney, and I was on the train about 20 hours a week.
I've had a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
I've never been fired, actually.
great.
I've always...
Stepping stone.
Yeah, I've always left to go and
Yeah.
do... Actually, in my professional career, I've always left because I was moving.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What were you doing at the federal court?
Just IT,
Okay.
just consulting there.
Yeah.
And I was on the train 20 hours a week. We had just moved to the Central Coast, so we'd moved back to Australia 2012, and I got this job, and we decided it was a contracting role. We were renting on the Central Coast, so we were kind of like, we don't know where we want to live or what we want to do, so everything was kind of flexible. But I was 20 hours a week on the train. It was draining, but I was like, we're living on the Central Coast, but I don't feel connected.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I live there.
Yeah.
So,
Independent.
yeah.
Mm.
And, we started to have a lot of friends that had small businesses, and I was just like, I've done a lot in my life where I can help you
Yeah.
come up with a business strategy, or, let's do your marketing plan, or, your goal is to do, to make X amount of profit, but how are you managing your finances? So I started Eye of the Tiger coaching. I guess I was doing boxing at the time. So it was I was watching Rocky films all the time. And that's where it came out. And it was kind of like my tagline was the PT for your business.
Yeah.
And so I had a few clients on the coast and, just helping them through strategy and all that. It was like a side hustle type thing. And then eventually when I decided to become a PT, I had all the branding, I had the website, I had everything. So I was just like, well, let's just turn that into Eye of the Tiger Fitness.
Yeah.
And then Iron Tigers kind of fell out of that.
Molded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that because you were, everything else you've done, but because you were doing business coaching and all that sort of stuff, that made it heaps easier for you to start your own business? Yeah. So do you do all your own marketing and all that sort of stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, it's diverse. It's getting a little bit more diverse. We've got more and more people
more
getting
stuff,
involved.
especially the bigger it gets and everything that you have.
Yeah,
time consuming and stuff
just
like
jumping from thing to thing.
Yeah. Because I reckon starting a business, that's like one of the hardest things is websites, social media, all that stuff. But when you have all that already, that's a heaps.
Yeah, I think the website, shout out Craig at Foxy Web Design. He's the genius. He's the guy. He's done all of my websites. I highly recommend him.
Yay.
He set up Iron Tigers for me like really, really quickly.
Yeah.
So great. And then, all the kind of marketing stuff I know.
Yeah.
Setting up the business was easy, and just having those foundations. But, now I'm doing payroll. I'm doing staff management. I'm still doing social media, and then the expansion of the club. Like we've got 20.
Were you surprised at how quickly it exploded?
My goal was to have 5 teams this comp.
Easy. And then I've just added you more.
24 hours. We had 2 under-9s teams. He's like...
I messaged Matt the other day and I was just like, there's no team for Zeke. And I can't... And it was like, because it was so hard to find Zeke a team and he's...
I remember I said, I've got 3 players. You said, leave it with me.
Yeah. And then literally next day, because when like Zeke's friend's mum was like, what should we do? I said it to her too. I was like, leave it with me. I'll just message Matt and see if it's possible. And now... Then you messaged this morning and said, now we've got a wait list.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Yay.
So, and it's just taken off. Like my goal was 5 teams. So if I have Daniel's team covered and Charlie's team covered.
Yeah.
And maybe we get a girls team and some others, depending on whatever happens, then that's a good start. And at Terrigal in the first winter comp, we had 16 teams. Then we added Lake Haven and then we have 4 at Batto. But this summer comp, we're probably going to have 23 teams at Terrigal.
Crazy.
An under-19s team got stood up this morning. It's just Crazy.
Wow.
Like
And
trying not to be so reactive.
yeah,
And just plan for it. But if there's demand there, sometimes you just have to go with it.
Yeah. Because like with the training nights, how many nights do you train? So I only really know about Jack's. So Jack's is like on a Wednesday, and then you have how many teams have we got there?
Tuesday is under 10s. It'll change next term because all the ages change.
Yeah.
And Tuesday's under 10s. Wednesdays is 12s and 14s. 12s and 14s at Grammar. But then we've also got 14 girls at PCYC. Thursdays we've got 16s and 18s at Grammar. And then we've got 10s and 12s at PCYC. Fridays is games for most PCYC and Lake Haven. Sunday mornings we train at Lake Haven. Yeah,
crazy. And I've got to give it to you, man. Those training nights, there are so many kids there, but no one goes unnoticed. Like it's so well structured. It's so focused. Like even how, like I said, I only go to the grammar school Wednesday nighters, but we fill those courts and yet they're still so focused on, and you have so many coaches and they're so good. You know, it's not just
I think
nothing.
The goal is to make sure that it's individually focused.
Yeah.
So yes, we're training big groups, but we want to make sure that, you know, Johnny has the best experience.
Yeah. It's definitely like, and it's super noticeable. Like Ollie and I even talk about it because the kids have done other outside training things and stuff like that. And it's sort of just like, no offense to anybody that has ever coached my kids, but those big groups can just be like somebody watches those kids, tells them what to do, and then they just stand there while they do that thing. But when I watch them at your coaching sessions and even those skills academy and all that sort of stuff, it was very like a small group is focused on, and you pull them apart and you focus on them, and they love it.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
all of those kids, they're all having the best time. And at the end, they're having the best time. And you do I'm giving you props as much as I can. But seriously, like even at the end, you run it. You could easily, like there's a lot of people that run a business and sort of just leave it up to the coaches and stuff. But they all froth on you because even though they have those little individual coaches, at the end, you're still their person and you still call them in for that.
That's it. Like there's a balance because I've got to let my coaches do the coaching.
Yeah.
So particularly on game night, I won't go and sit with more, you know.
I noticed that. Yeah, you definitely go and sit to the
I want to
side
go and watch and see. And it's sometimes taking it in and just going, look at this. There's teams all over the stadium, but also looking at, you know, the technical aspects to it. Like, are we getting up and down the court properly and that sort of stuff. But training is really cool now because I feel like a celebrity sometimes.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Like if I come from PCYC and then I'll go to grammar and the training's already started and I can walk around and I know all the kids.
And that's I love it. Like, I love seeing you do that.
I see all of the kids on the list and sometimes they're just a list for a long time until I can put a face to a name. I'm like, right, okay. Yep, Jack, I'm going to remember Jack.
Yeah.
And then when I get there, I can go around and see all of them. And
and you can tell they think that's so good. Like the kids don't understand how important and how much goes into being that person. They just are stoked. They feel loved. In a sense,
and that's,
you know
I want it to be like, and there's a lot of kids that are leaving this comp because they're going back to the school team or something like that. But it's not like you're dead to me kind of thing. Like, I know they'll be back.
Yeah.
And I want them to feel like, you know, just because you only played one season in Iron Tigers, you're always going to be an Iron Tiger.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you know.
Yeah.
You're part of history.
It's so good. I love it. What do you think is something that people don't know about basketball on the Central Coast?
I don't know. I want to be positive about this because it's highly political. And it's so dumb. Like, there's, you know, it's a bit like Star Wars. I think there's the Rebel Alliance and then there's the Galactic Empire and, you know, there was fractions broken off and multiple clubs and some clubs went under and some clubs, you know. So there's rivalries, which is good for the sport, but I think there's got to be a bigger picture.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, I feel like we're part of that pathway. And, you know, looking at, you know, a couple of years ago, I coached in the Junior Premier League, which is like the, you know, 6 country teams and 6 metro teams in the same division. And there's such a skills gap between metro teams and country teams at the
Yeah,
rep
right.
level, that we've got to do more as country basketball to upskill.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're part of that solution because we can, our under 9s, our under 11s are going to be coached
Yeah.
well before they get to under 12 reps.
Yeah.
So by the time they get to under 12 reps, their skill level is higher. So they understand how to be coached, how to take feedback, how to do certain drills, how to, play defense the right way. So it's bridging that gap a little bit.
Is it because, like how you said, places like Sydney and Newcastle, they have these sort of things like Iron Tigers, but all those other places, we don't have academies and things like that?
Yeah, well, I think we do. Like, we've got the Central Coast Academy of Sport. Crusaders do a great job. Central Coast Waves do a great job at the rep level.
Yeah.
We're trying to fill that middle tier.
Get before they get, if they're not in rep level, they still get it. Exactly. Yeah.
But I also think, like, even just noticing the metro teams in their competitions, they play every week.
Yeah.
Whereas we in country basketball have 4 rounds and they're kind of central rounds.
Yeah.
So we'll go to Tamworth and play 4 or 5 games on a weekend, and then there'll be another month before we play again.
Yeah.
Whereas they go from Hornsby and then they're going to play Sutherland next week, and then they're going to play Bankstown the next week after that. So they get more reps, but I also feel like they get better coaching because from my perspective, I'll go, okay, we played 5 games that weekend and I think we had a good quarter against this team.
Yeah.
Whereas metro teams get to go, or those coaches get to go, well, we played Hornsby on Saturday. Let's review that in our training on Tuesday. And then we got Bankstown on next week. So in our Thursday training, we're going to focus on Bankstown, whereas we kind of go into this weird off-season, pre-season every round. So the coaching, I think, is also better in Metro. So it contributes to the gap.
Definitely. What's the philosophy you've sort of built Iron Tigers on?
I tend to double down on things that I have bad experiences on. So if I've been somewhere that didn't communicate well and didn't develop well, then I'm going to double
You want to
down
make
on those
sure,
things. So those 2 things is communication and development. And I double down on those, and I love to over communicate. As probably your WhatsApp blows up as much as mine does. But you can never say you don't know what's going on. And that's the thing. I want everyone to feel informed. Yeah. So you're not wondering what's happening with our team next season or But I also want to make sure that everybody gets something out of it, development-wise. So the kids feel like they're improving, the coaches feel like they're improving. So we're going to have an on-court coaches session in a couple of weeks where we'll take them through the offense that we want to run next year. Yeah. And they have to run it. Yeah. So they'll get to understand how to coach it, how to break it down. Yeah. So we want to make sure that, we've got a lot of young coaches that want to go on. So we want to make sure that they're going to get developed and they're not just, getting it back every week.
Yeah. You can definitely tell you put a lot of heart into it. Even for Jack, like how now he's started to dream to be an Iron Tigers coach one day. Do you know what I mean? So it's like there's a reason that they're thinking that way. It's because of all the heart that's in it. Yeah. What's your vision for the club in the next 3 to 5 years?
3 to 5, I think I want us to be in every competition on the coast. So Woy Woy is a bit of an untapped market. I think down in the south of the coast, there's a lot of kids playing basketball down there just socially that, there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of want to be coached. Niagara Park is next on the radar to expand to. I'm really, really passionate about the north of the coast because it's in that kind of grey area between Newcastle and, the rep teams here that not a lot of thought goes into. And just I can see, like, we train on Sunday mornings at Lake Haven and we book the court for 1 hour. And there's 20, 30 kids waiting on the sideline for us to get off because they want to go on and shoot. Yeah. Like that's every Sunday. So there's a lot of, so we're going to start doing academies up there. Yeah. Starting next term just to try and give them something more than learn to play. Yeah. But I think, we're going on tour this year. So we've launched Iron Tigers Unleashed, which is our kind of touring arm. So we're going to take boys teams to Port Macquarie in November, girls teams to Coffs in December, and then we'll be doing multiple tours next year. We'll be looking at doing camps as well. So maybe we'll go down to Albury, spend 5 days down there, do strength and conditioning, do some mindset stuff, physio stuff, play in a tournament.
Yeah.
You know, those are the sort of the goals that we want to
Think local, go global.
Yeah, and it's like, again, going back to, unless you make a rep team, you're never going to get this.
No, yeah.
So, you know, some of my best memories of playing rugby was the bus trip to the game.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, we're adults and there was probably alcohol involved on the way back.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I have friends, like I'm in this Facebook group of, you know, I play for Millwall Rugby Club and there's a Facebook group called Millwall Exiles.
Yeah.
And it's just people all across the globe that used to play for Millwall. You know, you'll get a message going, hey, I'm going to be in Sydney for this date.
Yeah.
People just
Such a connection.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's because of those bus trips and the, you know, when it's pouring with rain in East London and it's -2 degrees, you're still, you know, still enjoying yourself.
Do you think you ever want to get Iron Tigers overseas?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
We've talked, like, you've had heaps of jobs, you've travelled heaps, you've played rugby, basketball, obviously you're building this massive empire. You even took a little bit of boxing. You did some boxing and raised money for your son's school.
Yeah.
How was that? How much did you raise again?
It was $13,000.
Hectic. Over how much time?
3 months.
Amazing.
3 months. So, yeah, Ben had just started school.
Mm-hmm.
He was in kindy at Aspect, and we were really worried about him starting school because preschool was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of inputs for him. He was diagnosed early.
I was about to say, when did you find out?
3. He was about 3.
Yeah.
And I remember either hearing or reading, like, just the amount of inputs for a young kid with autism was like, you know, punches being thrown.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I had seen G6 was running this Red versus Blue. So I messaged Jake and went down. I took Ben down with me to meet him to just go, this is what I want to do. And it was hard. Like, it was one of the hardest parts of my life, I think.
Yeah.
And there were points where I was just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
You know, when we started sparring, I was just like, I really
Had you ever done boxing before? No.
Just pad work and stuff. And I'd watched a lot of Rocky movies. And,
You're like, I can do
I can do this. So I go to beat. But it was like I'd train in the mornings and we'd do sparring. Then I'd have to go to work and then come home. And then, like, it was training every night for 3 months. And it was like Thursdays was sparring night. And I was just like, I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I know I've got to do
halfway through, you're just like, why am I fucking doing this?
Yeah. And there was one part where I was in the middle of the ring and we had 4 other people in the corners and every 2 minutes a fresh person would come in. And I was just like, just when I feel like I'm getting my breath back, somebody had come in throwing punches at me. And I sat in my car going like, what if I quit? Yeah. What if I quit now? Yeah. And by that stage, I already raised about 7,000.
So how did you raise it? You just did it by advertising,
Facebook.
I'm going to do this if you like. Yeah, I'll keep going. And
Facebook and some charity page.
Yeah. How amazing. 13,000 in 3 months is so good.
And it was just, I just kept raising the bar. I was like, hey, I'm nearly at 10,000. If you help me now, then I'll get to 10. And
so, like how you said you did it on Facebook, it was community? It wasn't like just family and friends?
Oh, no, there's lots of people. Yeah. Like I got donations from India and, US and everyone I'd known. And I was just posting updates and videos. It's probably the most social media I've done, actually. And then I rang my bank and said, can I have a big check, please? So I got a big check and I took it into Ben's school and presented it to them.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That must have been epic, though, like from your point.
I remember fight night like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Like I had to shave. I remember that. And I was like looking in the mirror going, who's this guy? And that just made me feel really uncomfortable. It was weird.
And then doing the walkout with the face.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the Rocky music.
I was just about to say, what was your walkout song? And I was like,
It was. I had a table, my team, when I was working at Central Coast Council. I had a team. So it was like all my employees there and Vicky and some family. Mum and Dad were like, no, we're not coming.
Yeah, I don't want to see it. Daniel wanted to come, but he would have only been 10 maybe. Yeah. So we couldn't bring him. But yeah, it was just... because I was later on in the night, it was such a long build up and I was like, just trying not to think about it. And then, how'd the fight go?
It was funny, like, because I had sparred with Greg, the guy I fought, and we'd trained alongside each other for 3 months. And I was like, okay, Greg. And he was just like, I was like, whoa, Greg. I was like, yeah, okay, we're in this now. And yeah, like it was over before I knew it.
Yeah.
It was all done. And yeah.
Who won?
Greg won. Yeah. It was all points based.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't care. Like
Yeah.
I didn't go out there to win.
Nah.
It was just to do it. And,
Yeah.
you know, I remember Jag saying to me, like, you're part of the 1%.
Hectic.
Like only 1% of the world would have done that before.
Yeah.
So, you know?
What a shift from like, you did 20 years in IT?
Yeah. Yeah, about that. Yeah.
How did that feel? How did 20 years in IT feel?
I don't know, because it was different jobs all the way and it was
Yeah.
different focus and different types of projects. And
What made you want to get out of it?
I worked for Central Coast Council and I joined Wyong Council.
Huh?
And then 2 months later, they merged with Gosford.
Now we're all one.
Central
Yeah.
Coast. And it just had like the pressure just kept getting bigger and bigger. And maybe that comes with, you know, one of my favorite songs is More Money, More Problems.
Yeah.
When I hear that, I think back
Literally true.
think back to my time at council, because the more, not necessarily the more money I earned, but the higher I moved up the corporate ladder.
Yeah.
The harder it became and the more I felt my mental health suffered. And, you know, I remember like working on a Saturday night, you know, for stuff that I think back now and go, what was the urgency?
Yeah.
It was, we created these deadlines for nothing.
Yeah.
And people were being fired and people were being scolded, like grown-ups scolding other grown-ups. And I just think like, why would I ever want to go into that situation?
Yeah. Yeah. I think like all those sort of things, it's like how you said, like you put so much effort into it and you're just like, this isn't even my thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, and like how you said, your mental health is suffering and you're just sort of just like, why am I putting myself through this struggle for this?
You know, and I had, when I was running the IT merger of Gosford and Wyong, and my boss at the time refused to let me change my structure. So I was hiring people and I had about 68 direct reports. I was like, let me group them together so I only have 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Wouldn't let me do it. So I was like constantly meeting with people, trying to check on their well-being because they're being affected by deadlines and stuff like that.
But then who's checking on you? Yeah.
Nobody. And I went off on stress leave. Like I remember my parents took us to Fiji in July of 2017. It was our last family holiday before my mum died. And it was the worst holiday of my life because I was still
so
stressed about work. It took me about 5 days to just stop thinking about it. And then it was time to go home and be back to work again.
Yeah, you're just not present.
No.
Yeah. Was it you that sort of figured out your mental health was struggling, or did Vic point it out? Or?
A bit of both.
Yeah.
A bit of both, I think. And then I kind of moved from that IT role, the head of IT role, and I got I was a contractor at the time, and I got a permanent role as a section manager. It was a new section. I get to set it up the way that I want. I got to recruit my own team. And I wrote the sort of methodology for how we're going to run projects. And it was really, really like a niche type thing. So I got to run that. But then the pressure came back.
Yeah.
And so I had handpicked all the people that I had recruited and watching them be stressed by these deadlines. And I was trying to shield them from it, but it was just...
You were just taking it
all. So I ended up moving out of that role into a more business partner type role. It was, again, the organization was shifting. And I said, if I go into business partnering, I want community. I want to get all the childcare centers, libraries. I want, like Lake Haven Rec Center. I want any of those. I don't want to go into corporate stuff. So I ended up getting into, I think it was the Connected Communities division of council, where I get to go to the leisure centres and I get to go to childcare and library.
Yeah.
And that was where I was able to actually talk to people and help them through. But again, I was just phasing out.
Yeah.
And then it got to that point where I'm earning as much doing PT as I am here. Yeah. And I enjoy this. So
I put yourself through that when you can just be doing that.
So I just hung on. And then there was the great exodus and financial debacle at council. Yeah. So I was like, okay, give me my money.
Yeah. See ya.
Yep.
Yeah. Heaps fresher.
Yeah.
Do you look back at it now and just be like, I wish I did it sooner?
I think I had to go through it to know that I'm never going to go back there.
Yeah.
Because I think there were parts of, PT where I was like, oh, maybe I should get another job alongside this, or maybe I should go back. Like now, like I'm never working for anybody ever again.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So
And even how you said like you were checking in on everybody, did that like having nobody sort of be checking in on you? It's kind of good that you were doing it. Were you told to do that, or were you just doing that because you know?
hey,
Yeah,
I just knew that, you know, these people have been brought in to deliver, like hired mercenaries kind of thing.
yeah,
And the pressure was coming from above, and I just knew that, you know, I have to check on them
yeah,
to make sure they had the right direction, they were getting the right support.
yeah,
Oftentimes I didn't have answers for them.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
But they're not.
they were
A
okay.
lot of people don't want to reach out because they don't want to say they're struggling and all that sort of stuff. But
Yeah, I'm a big advocate for mental health, I
same.
think, because I've been there.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's why we sort of partnered. That's why we partnered with Black Dog, because also you can do that through Iron Tigers too for the young youth to grow through it.
Yeah.
But no one it's especially for men. People don't really talk about it, and that's why we partnered with them to even barbershop wise just to get conversations going, because people don't. Well, they don't feel like they can just bring it up. You know what I mean? They like chicks, we're all about it. Like we are like, how are you? Not good. Let me tell you my problems. Guys, you can say it 50 times over, are you okay? And they'll just be like, no.
Yeah.
But I'm fine. You know, and then eventually you get it out of
Yeah, and I think part of it is making that time.
Yeah.
So even if you're not talking, is to just be there.
Yeah. And be aware of the need for it. Sort of.
Yeah, and I think you can tell, sometimes you can tell, you know, somebody's personality changes or their habits or routines change.
Yeah.
Then you just got to be proactive.
And it's pretty important to act on noticing it. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. That's what I mean. I think girls, we're all about like, we can definitely pick it up like straight away and we'll ask. But guys can just say to you, oh, I think they're a bit down. And you're like, did you say anything to them?
Yeah.
They'll be like, no, I didn't. Like, well,
why not?
Ask them. Yeah. Like, they're your friends.
It's so easy to get caught up in your own stuff that you don't pick up on stuff.
Yeah. I think it's good to promote how important it is to actually talk about it.
Yeah, and I think that's just to bring it back to coaching. Like that's what I do, particularly with my rep players, is to establish that connection.
So they feel like a safe space.
When I talk to them, it's not about basketball. It's how's school this week?
Yeah.
Everything all right at home?
Yeah.
What did you do? You know, have you eaten much today? That then opens up the door for more conversation.
And they start to think you're not just a coach. You know what I mean? You're not just there just to talk about basketball, which they go into thinking maybe you would be. But then once you start talking about that, they start to feel more comfortable to.
I always say to particularly my guys, like, I'll always be your coach.
Yeah.
Like, you know, 20 years, you can still call me if you need me.
Yeah.
Like I often talk to people, like I remember when I was doing PT and I'd have some basketballs come through and I go, oh, if they're in under 18s now, who's your under 12s coach? Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I never want to be that. I want people to remember
about it forever. Yeah.
I remember when Matt was my under 12s coach.
Yeah.
I still talk to him.
Like even how you're talking about people now from all through your years, you want people to be like, shout out to Matt. You know, like in like 20 years. Yeah.
When they're putting their NBA draft cap on and, you know, signing their signature shoe deals.
And they're on a podcast. They're doing their little shout outs to you.
That's right.
Is that one thing you hope that players from Iron Tigers walk away from? Or
no, I don't want it to be about me. Iron Tigers is not about me. It's about the opportunities for kids. Like opportunities I had in other sports, it's just wrong. Yeah. That it's not there for basketball. So I want them to feel like, you know, they had good coaches, they had great teammates, they got to go on the bus rides, you know, they got to play other teams from other states and other areas that, you know, nobody else offered them.
Yeah. Beautiful memories stuff too. Yeah. All right. Now, we've gone through all those. I've got a couple of last questions from Jack and Zeke. They have asked, if your coaching style was a Marvel or Star Wars character, who would you be?
That's a great question. I would say Nick Fury.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. With a bit of Iron Man thrown in.
Yeah. If you're a Star Wars character?
Star Wars, maybe Admiral Akbar. It's a trap.
See, I don't know anything about Star Wars, but I know that if Zeke watches it or
He'll get
watches
it.
this back, he'll get it. Yeah. Did you I think you told me as well that someone said you're like a mentor and you'd compare yourself to Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
saying that too, and it's like, yeah.
I don't know. It was at council where, I was just helping another section manager kind of put her team together, and she had this sheet it was like a mind map and all of this, and she had mentor written down and my name circled. I was like, what's that? And she's like, you're so wise. And I was like, okay. Cool.
How old were you then?
40 maybe.
And how old were they?
40.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're my mentor. Same age. Yeah. All right. And from Jack, what is your favorite NRL team?
I grew up in Bankstown, so I was born into a Bulldogs family.
Oh, he's bulldogging now. Yes, he loves the Bulldogs now.
Okay.
Yes, he's going to be so stoked.
Apparently, I went to the '79 grand final. I was born.
Yeah.
But we used to walk from my nana's place to Belmore Sports Ground. So yeah.
Yes.
It's been a lean few years, but we're back on top now.
You have to tell him. I'll tell him tonight. Yeah. But you have to tell him. He'll be stoked. And of course, he wants to know your favorite NBA team.
Don't really have a favorite NBA team. In the 90s, I followed the Golden State Warriors, so I have a soft spot for Golden State. I don't watch.
That's Steph Curry, am I right?
Yeah. But I was Tim Hardaway, Chris Mullin back then. I wanted to be Tim Hardaway. I modeled my game on him. I don't really watch the NBA now.
And he said if it's not NBA, NBL.
NBL I watch a lot of where, we're season ticket holders at the Kings.
Yes.
I went to my first game in 91, I think it was. I still have the singlet from 1993 that I bought.
How good.
So, yeah, we're a big Kings family.
Yeah. We only really got into the NBL last year, and I went to my first, again, same thing. I went to games when I was a kid. Don't remember. But, we went to our first Sydney Kings game like last year, and I was just like, this is so good. It was the vibe. Yeah. Oh my God. I was on the edge of my seat just going, yes!
I remember going with my mates sort of in the early 90s, and we used to, it was at the entertainment centre, the old entertainment centre called the Kingdom. And my mate Dave would say, tonight's the night. Tonight I'm going to touch the Barocca ball. They used to have this big blow-up ball that they would throw.
Yeah.
They don't do it anymore because health and safety or whatever, but it'd always just fly straight over our heads. It would never get to touch it.
Yeah. My dad's company was one of the first sponsors of the Sydney Kings when they first started.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he used to have Andrew Gaze and Luke Longley. Yeah. They were their models for their brand and stuff like that. And I remember he had one of those, he had a beautiful, what do they call the bomber jackets that had brown leather arms and it was oh my God, it was so nice. But I didn't really know much about it back then, but he used to travel with the Sydney Kings and go to parties and stuff with them, and it was back when they were just real, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my mum went to a party with them once, but back then it was boys club, your wives didn't come, but my dad took my mum everywhere, and mum said she hated it because she was just
there's no other women.
Why is this? And the only other women that were there were not the wives. Yep. So mum was just this is terrible for me. But so we told Jack that, and Jack's oh my God, that's so cool. But
fun fact, there is an Iron Tigers coach now that used to be Sonic the Hedgehog at Sydney Kings games.
Wow, really? Back then?
Sega World.
Wow. That's so good.
Guess who it is?
Yes, that's so good. All right, Matt, that's a wrap. So thank you so much for joining us on the Black Wolf podcast and telling us all of your stories from everything that's led you here to the Iron Tigers, from London to 52 countries and all the jobs you've had in between. If anybody wants to find you or follow the Iron Tigers or join, where can they go?
IronTigersBasketball.com.au. On Facebook, Iron Tigers Basketball Club. Instagram, at Iron Tigers Basketball.
Yeah, and we'll drop it all in the show notes too, so everything will be down below. But trust me, you want to check out Iron Tigers. They're amazing. All right,